What's up, entrepreneurs? Bekah here, and Colby to my left,
or in your ear if you're just listening to it.
in my ears. True. We are back after a decade or a year, whatever you may want to call it. It's been
Ah,
since July 13th, but we're finally back and at it. I want to talk to you guys about some business.
business cards to be exact. So we're going to talk about um, do we use business cards? Have we used business cards? Do they work? How do you promote with business cards? And then we're going to talk about advertising on Facebook ads, Twitter, Instagram, which one is best for us, and why we use any of them. Clearly, obviously, to get clients, but uh, obviously, we have two different businesses, so we have two different strategies, and maybe one of them will help you. So let's start off with you, Bekah. Do you have business cards? Well, first, let's kind of reintroduce ourselves. It's been almost a year. So reintroduce yourself. So for the new people and the returning people.
All right, new people. My name is Bekah Stevens. I own Cohen and Co. Photography. It's just me and my husband. He's my second shooter, and I actually it's photography and videography now. Let me correct myself. So it's a team of four, two videographers, sometimes four videographers, depending on your wedding package, and then it's my husband and myself. But we recently went through like an expansion in the last year and a half, and hopefully going to be rolling out some more. But that's me, photography and videography business.
Yes, I think you talk about that expansion the last episode of season one. I think.
Mhm.
I think that we hit on that. Um,
Yeah.
I'm I'm Colby Grant. I run Grant Tutoring. It's a tutoring business. It started off as a face-to-face face-to-face tutoring business where tutors would meet you at a library, Panera, any place that has Wi-Fi. But now we have pretty much transitioned to only doing, well, COVID happened and we've been doing online for maybe 2 years before COVID. But when COVID hit, obviously we fully transitioned online. All my tutors are online. Um, so we are just an online tutoring company that we can pretty much provide um, tutoring K through 6, well, K through 12, ACT, and some college. You just have to ask, and we'll let you know. So that's our background.
Applause.
Yeah, so round of applause for us.
Yeah.
Um, but no, so let's get into business cards.
Mhm.
So you started Cohen and Co. When did that first start? When did that first start? And did you start with business cards?
I started Cohen and Co. in okay, officially like business license.
Business license.
Okay, we're going with business license. That's a good question though, right?
Because
Because a lot of entrepreneurs start and they're like,
I started
they're in
like
this
5 years.
limbo. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay, so officially Cohen and Co started May 2018. That's when I got my business license. And my first business cards, I actually think I have a copy of them in my car somewhere. Um, they looked like I was a florist. Horrible. It was horrible. I mean, I liked it as like my first business card, but like looking back from like a marketing and advertising perspective, like there's no way I would choose that again.
I
There was
feel
just
like
flowers everywhere. There's nothing that other than my like business name, there's no way that you would know I was a photographer.
you didn't have any camera or anything on it. It kind of looked like cake toppings. Yes, it did look like a florist, but it kind
Mhm.
of looked like a someone that put stuff on a cake. Uh,
Yeah.
I worked with a girl that made cakes, and hers looked kind of similar to yours.
Mm.
So I was like, I mean, I guess, but she didn't have cake in hers, so you could have thought she was a florist as well. So,
I
but
got
yeah,
it off of Vistaprint. It was very convenient, but not well calculated. I'll say that.
yeah. I think with everybody's first business card, it's like one of those like you look back and you're like, yikes, like
Mhm.
why did I even make that? So you actually went to Vistaprint for your first business card.
Yep.
So I have like two versions of my first business card. So my first business card said my name, and it literally just said my name, and I think it said tutoring K through. I think at the time it was just me, so I did K through 6, and it had my number and my email. That's it, and I printed it out on like copy paper. I put it in. I laminated it myself, and then I cut it myself, and then kind of like handed it out. So that was my first one. It was very like, let's start this business. Let's see where it goes. It
Yeah.
probably won't last type thing.
Just to get you kick started.
Yeah. And then I was like, well, I need like a picture of myself so people know who Grant Tutoring is, who's the dude that's going to be tutoring. So I asked one of my friends, he's like an artist. I was like, hey, here's a nice picture of me. Make me to a cartoon, put some books and stuff like that. And I didn't want anything on the books because I was like, well, I don't want them to just to think it's just math or just reading. So if there's nothing on the books, it kind of just eliminates what I tutor. It's like, okay, you can do multiple
Hmm.
things. So I think I still have both of those, or I have in my camera roll. I might have
Hmm.
to send, I'll send it to you so you can post it, or I'll put it in the video edit. But yeah,
Yeah.
so those two are my first business cards. It's still, and I still kind of use the one with my face. I've never made any new business cards since then. I was like, whatever. I don't want to waste money, even though it's not a waste of money. Let me say that. But I was like, at the time I made so many, and I'm one person, so I can't tutor everybody because all
Yeah.
my sessions were an hour. So if I had 5 kids, even that's a lot for one person.
Hmm.
But yeah, no business cards. Yeah, I still have mine. I think we should try to find our old ones and take a picture with them and then post it on our
I can
Instagrams.
totally do
And
that. Yeah.
so if
I
you
just
have
got
your
new ones too.
I that's where we're getting to. So you have upgraded to new. I don't want to say professional because you're a professional, but upgrade like Beyonce. Let me upgrade you. You have upgraded to nice black silk
Sleek. Yeah.
leak little pictures, and describe what your business cards look like.
I think your mic went out for just a second, but I think I know what you said. You said describe the card.
Yeah. So describe your card.
So it's like it's it's just classy. I'm trying to like put it into the best words I can, but it's black and gold. It's got like three of like beautiful pictures on the front from a wedding I shot at Epping Forest Yacht Club. And they're just like they're perfect and bright in the right areas, and they're eye-catching, you know what I mean? And then my information is short, sweet, and simple. um, I learned that people don't like to read and scour through all this information to get to you. Like they don't want to have like a biography on your business card.
Yeah.
So I just put like my business, my name, the company name is on the front of the card underneath the pictures, and then, my contact info. But it's very just like at Cohen and Co, phone number, name, that's it.
Yeah.
So it's just to the point, short, simple, and sweet.
So when you decided to pick those three pictures, was it hard to decide which three pictures? Because I feel like with you, or just a photographer in general, you're like, you have to be very specific with what you're taking a picture of, because you don't just do weddings. You do like mini shoots, you do hour shoots. You obviously, I think the weddings are like your biggest
Hmm.
draw, but you don't want to like, I guess you don't want people to think you just do weddings because you
Yeah.
do the mini session. So why did you only pick the wedding pictures, or how did you pick the pictures? Because obviously you love every picture that you take. So it must have been difficult.
So okay, so that's a good question. Since our last season, I was very much so into everything photography related, family, couples, wedding, kids, first birthdays, whatever. Now I am very geared toward couples, engagement, and wedding. Um, it's just the most fun and creative to me because like every couple is different and you can capture them all differently. Like some of them are very reserved and conservative, some of them are very fun and outgoing and wild. Um, and I just like it. I like dealing with those different types of people. Families are fun, and I'll always do those sessions. I'll always, if they book me, I will do it. But as far as like what I'm advertising now, it's mostly geared towards couples, engagement, and wedding.
Hmm. So you'll still do like the newborn, because I think when you first started, it was newborn, right?
Yeah,
I feel like you.
I still love newborn. Yeah, it's just like I don't know. I don't know what it is about weddings. It's just so much fun. Like every wedding is different, vows are always different, the love is always different. I know that sounds so like rom-com, but
Yeah.
it's like
Now,
it's just
now
so
question.
beautiful. I cry every time and I usually don't cry.
That's what weddings are supposed to do. Now, let's say hypothetically, this is off topic real fast. So you do weddings. Now, does it kind of like when you're at someone's wedding as a photographer, does it kind of make you think about your wedding day and kind of like, oh, I like that. Like I should have did that for my wedding day. Or I remember something of that sort. Like, does it bring, um, I don't want to say memories because obviously it does, but
Mm.
being at weddings multiple times does it always just bring it back like, oh my gosh, I missed that moment of walking down the aisle, I missed that someone taking a picture of me in my dress type thing.
Yeah. I will say that I gotta choose wisely because I loved my photographers, but at the time with how I photograph now, um, I would have probably wanted something a little more different.
Yeah,
Um, that's not to say the photography that I had was bad because it was good. It was so good and it was very like crisp and clean. But looking back, like I would have if I am who I am now versus who I was then, I would have chose like a different style.
yeah,
And I would have picked like a destination elopement wedding. I wouldn't have done the whole shebang. If I could do it all over again, I would take, or Jaron and I would go to some waterfall with like 10 people.
yeah.
And
No, I think that's, I think everybody thinks that, because I mean, even with our wedding, like, you say you don't want to spend a lot on it, but then you think about, well, it's the only time we're going to get married. You
mm,
don't want to have multiple weddings. But I think everybody thinks back and they're like, we could have spent less on it and stuff like
yeah,
that. But I think with the photography, I think with you being professional, I think it's just kind of a critique thing. Like
yeah,
at that time
hmm
in your life, you weren't who you are now. And
right.
you can look back and be like, yeah, we could have took better pictures. Like if I could multiply myself into multiple people, I would have took our wedding pictures ourselves. But no, I think that's, it's not bashing the people because obviously they're
Right.
good photographers.
They
You're
were good.
just, yeah, and you've grown to it. So with your business cards, are you going to place some places? Like where does the photographer put their business cards?
Kind of everywhere. My I mean, I can put them in like bridal shops and like uh like cake tasting places for people to go
Uh,
to. Like anywhere a bride's gonna go to find a
yeah,
vendor, like at venues, like that's where I want to put them. Um, but I'm thinking more outside of the box, like and dropping them in like local restaurants and like maybe running an ad in like a magazine or something. I know that sounds so old fashioned, but there's still people out there who read them. Um, so in addition to my business cards, I know we talked a little bit about Facebook advertising behind the scenes. That's something that I've actually been really, really heavy on now. So I ordered like a lesser amount of business cards this time around. So instead of 500, I ordered 100 of them. And
Yeah.
that's not to say that I'm not going to give them all out. And it sounds like a small amount when you think about it, but
No, that's a
I
lot.
still have like 300 of those 500 that I bought in 2018. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to hand them out now. That's not the image I'm trying to put out now, you know?
Yeah.
So, mostly my advertisements are like electronic now. So Facebook ads, Instagram ads, it's great. You can pick who you want to advertise to. It's kind of weird and creepy that you can choose your audience so specifically.
Like
Like,
by like money, by how much they make, by kind
yes,
of like what they like, how
it's
many,
weird.
if they're family, if they're single,
Hmm.
um,
If
age
they're looking
group,
for engagement rings, if they're looking up the knot.com, like it's just weird.
like,
But
hey, Mark
I pay
Zuckerberg
for
knows
it.
what he's doing.
Literally, yeah. And it's actually really budget friendly too because I'm going to be honest, I started this like 2, 3 weeks ago. And I was trying to just get out there more because, who doesn't want to get out there more as an entrepreneur? And I ran an ad for a weekend for $10. $10. About 800 to 1,000 people saw it. I can't remember the number. And I got inquiries left and right that weekend. And I ended up booking 5 weddings in a weekend for next
So
year
you like tripled your, like quadrupled your profit,
from
maybe
$20.
even more.
Yeah. It was crazy. And I did not expect that at all. But if you're listening, please try Facebook ads
Now,
for real.
now here's my question. How did you learn? Because I'm on Twitter a lot. I follow a lot of people. They call it FinTwit, which is like financial Twitter.
Hmm.
Um, and so there's always people trying to sell, like, hey, buy my pamphlet of how to make Facebook ads. So did you learn? Did you just kind of like, well, I'm going to figure it out myself? Did you have someone help you? Or did you just go to the free source of YouTube?
I went to YouTube University.
YouTube University is where it's at. That's where you can
Yep.
literally find anything that you need.
It's free
Um,
education. And
yeah,
it made me book 5 weddings in a weekend. So
yeah, why not?
shoot, it's got to be worth
Yeah,
it.
yes. And the good thing is there's multiple people that, so like if Billy's not good for you, oh, let me try Susan. Oh, let me
Mhm,
try this person. So you have multiple um, people that you can go to.
mhm.
And obviously you said you only spent $10 and you got 8 people. Yeah, that's a lot of money if you've already booked them. So go to YouTube, learn it. So for
Mhm.
me, as I said, I have business cards, but I don't use them. I used them at first. I put
So
them in the
how do you
schools.
advertise? Like what's your best platform for advertising?
My best platform is word of mouth.
That's true though, because it's like parents and kids and
Yeah, so and teachers. So well, it just depends on like the season.
yeah.
And I call tutoring, there's like seasons in tutoring. And I've learned like when the dip is, when to be really prepared. So obviously we're in summer, school just ended. So obviously towards the end of June or May, I knew like all of our clients are going to take a break. Summer's here, going on vacation. All like the people who have been with me since like the beginning of school. I knew they were going to cut off, but I know they're coming back.
Mhm.
So obviously, with um, advertisement, I tell I tell my tutors, I was like, hey, this time parents or students, they're going to kind of fall off a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, so I have two ways, two of my main ways. So I used to use Facebook, which I can get to, but I got into the school system. So I can pay to get my flyer to be in each school, like in their
Oh, yeah.
like each school sends out like their own like county flyer.
Yep.
So you have to know people to be able to get in that. And I've
Yeah.
been like for years, I've been trying to get on that list
Hmm.
to just pay to get into schools.
Right.
So I find at the time I made some friends in high places, and now I'm able to, pay. It's through Peach Jar, so I'll pay Peach Jar, and I can pick the schools that I want to go in, and I put my flyer, and it goes out to literally every single parent. And during the school year, during August to December, hey, we need tutor. Hey, we need tutor. Um, but I did it right before school ended because I was like, well, let me just see if I can get some summer tutoring. I sent it out.
Hmm.
I got nothing. So, and I mean, I knew that was going to happen, but I was like, let me just, try it out. And
Yeah.
then like 2 weeks into summer, maybe like 2 weeks ago, hey, we need summer
It's
tutoring.
coming in.
Hey, we heard you from, Jimmy. All right, I got you.
That's great though. So it
Yeah,
did work.
so
It just took like a little bit of time. They were probably like fresh out of summer or fresh out of school and just chilling.
yeah, well, they didn't come from the website. They just came from someone else. So
Oh.
like if they come from the school, they go to my website's email. But
Hmm.
some people still message me on Facebook. Like they'll go to
Oh,
my Facebook page. So yeah, I use Peach Jar for the school system. I still do free. I still post my flyers for free on like the community pages. I'm a big
yeah.
free guy. I'm a big save money. Let's
Yeah.
do it for free. So the community pages, um, and people will
Like
just retweet
Facebook
it.
community pages.
Yeah, Facebook community pages. I have a Twitter, but like the grant tutoring Twitter is kind of just like me reposting what I post on Instagram. And now
Right.
I've been like, tweeting actual stuff. But for advertisement, it's just straight Facebook or word of mouth. So or Peach Jar. I haven't, and knock on wood, I haven't really needed to advertise. Um, but I know like at the beginning of August, I'll send something out because that first 2 weeks is when parents are really like, my kid needs tutoring.
Right. Yeah.
And a lot of them see people that they know that have come to us. So they're like, I guess this is a good place. Let's go.
Hmm.
Um, the hardest thing I will say is the online tutoring, is because obviously no one wants their kid to learn online. We just did a whole year of online learning, and
Hmm.
a lot of kids didn't really strive in it. So it's kind of like, okay, how can I convert these clients to signing up to grant tutoring when we only do online? And the way is because when students were online, they were still in a class, so it wasn't one-on-one. With grant tutoring, it's your child and a tutor
Hmm.
and a screen. So if they have a question, hey, Becca, can you explain that to me? Hey,
Yeah.
can you do another problem? When you're in school, they don't have that, and that's kind of like
Oh.
they just. I mean, yeah, some teachers will help them, but sometimes you just need that reinforcement, and that's where we kind of push in really hard. Came out wrong, but yes. Um, so, um, but yeah, that's how I advertise. Facebook ads, that's where I start. I started with Facebook ads as well, and I didn't pay anybody for it. I kind of just winged it. And at first it was going really well, but then I don't know if I just lost my touch, but I wasn't getting any
When did you
inquiries.
were you doing it? Like it was a while ago?
Yeah, I haven't ran a Facebook ad in a while. So when I first started tutoring, because this is what I did. So I would post, I always use memes because I was like, well, let me not be that typical tutoring or typical school that just says, hey, your kid needs tutoring, call grant tutoring. I was like, no, I'm going to add a little bit of flavor to it. So I used memes. So like Avengers at the time was really big, and Iron Man looked like he was, drop like dead in the ship. And I think it was the beginning of Endgame. And I was like, 2019 is coming to an end. Don't let your child's end game, don't let their education end up like
Yeah,
Iron
you would
Man or
like
something.
twist it to be
Yeah, so
right.
I use like Iron Man memes. I use the black lady that's like trying to look. Like if your child's looking at their homework like this, like call grant
Hmm.
tutoring.
Hmm.
So any meme that was hot at the time, I used it. There's a Cardi B like baby picture, I used it. Any meme.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And I think that's probably why I got a lot of clients because it was kind of like funny. Like, oh, this guy's
Yeah,
funny.
you were catching their eye.
And then like obviously I kind of stopped, but at the time I didn't have that many tutors. So I was like, I don't want to like over promote and
It
like
is kind of scary and overwhelming because when when they flew in for me, like I was not expecting that at all. Like
yeah,
I was used to sending out like my wedding packages probably like once or twice every couple weeks, and then it was just like so many in a weekend, and I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. But I was like, replying to everybody. It was just overwhelming.
yeah.
So
But I think with you, I think it's because obviously with our businesses, we have two different businesses. You, Cohen and Co is just pretty much you and your husband. Like
mhm,
it's all on you. So like with me, the clients come to me. I do all the talking. I do all the setting everything up. But I have to rely on my contractors
mhm,
that are actually doing the tutoring. So
yeah,
am I hiring the right contractors? Are they good for the student? Do they
right,
know the material? Are they gonna, how are they gonna handle when the student's like, I don't want to do work today,
mhm,
or stuff like that. So like we do the same, but we are different at the same time because
yeah.
obviously everything falls on you, but it's you. You're the one taking the pictures. You're the one that's editing. Well, and your husband. So you got to
Well,
like make
now
sure he's,
my videographer is like a contractor too. Like I sub him because I
yeah,
don't do any of the videography work. Like I would not have time to do that.
yeah,
And
that's a lot of work.
he just to like expand, like I talked in the last episode, like I brought somebody on to pretty much help.
Yeah.
So
So like with him, I guess this getting off of our advertisement. I guess it's not. So how did you advertise to get him? Like, did you say, hey, I'm looking for someone, or is it someone that you've been working close with that you're like, you know what, maybe I can add him to my team type
yes,
thing?
the second. I've known him for a long time. We actually used to work together once upon a time at the Cheesecake Factory. And he started videography pretty much around the time that I started photography. And now, we always spoke about one day we were going to have like
A
his
thing.
business and my business. We're going to be working together all the time. And like now it's here. It's weird. Like it's weird.
Yeah. It's manifesting like we did. Like
Oh
we
my
knew,
God.
like,
You literally stole the word out of my head. Like I've been like pressing Jaren on this. Like I was like, manifesting is real. Listen, look
yeah.
it
So
up.
if you're new, like when you started photography, I think I was already tutoring. And
Mhm.
I think it was at
Yeah.
the time, it was just me. Or if I had people, it's like maybe two. And like, if you know me or if you know of me, I literally do everything. I
Mhm.
have another podcast. I have obviously grant tutoring. I have my full time job, which is teacher. Um, I take pictures for high schoolers because they want to look cool
Mhm.
and they need stuff for colleges so that for when they're older they're like, hey, son, look how I look.
Mhm.
um, I literally do everything.
Yeah.
But you know me as someone that's we're gonna do it. I know you as someone that I need to work with someone that's just as hardworking as me,
Yeah,
even
I
though I
agree.
don't and I don't want to say I'm a hard worker. I just think that's just who I am. Like I don't see what I'm doing as hard work or I'm always busy because I feel like managing everything is what I do best. I feel like
Yeah.
sometimes it's pretty bad, but for the most part, I feel it's pretty good. And I saw that in you, and I was like, we have to do something. There's got to be something, even though
Hmm.
tutoring and photography has nothing to do with each other. We have to do something, and I think this is probably the best thing because I think with you expanding, it kind of makes me work hard because I see how much you've grown,
Hmm.
and one would say you're growing faster than me, but and it just it's that competitive nature
It's
that I
because we
have.
have different businesses
No, I
completely.
know.
Like they're
Well,
not relatable at all.
yes, and I'm not saying that you are, but in my eyes, you're going ahead of me, and I'm like, I got to keep up. I got to keep up with Becca. We can't have
Keep up.
Jacksonville I can't have Jacksonville entrepreneurs, and I'm just like in a manure. I'm just like not there. So
No.
no, I think that I think we're both striding probably at the right time. At the same time, obviously you can't compare what we both do because obviously it's two different realms of businesses.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and like I have colleagues that help me with my my booking.
Hmm.
I have someone that does my calendar, and have someone send me my invoices. So one would say, "Oh, look, you have grown. Like you didn't have that a year ago. I didn't, but I do now."
Yeah,
So
that is growth for real. I still
yeah,
send my own voices.
well, my thing is, as I said, I do a lot of things, and I like freeing up my time. And the person that like every person my colleagues, I call them my colleagues. They're my three princesses
There's
because
literally a cardinal outside of my window right now.
take a picture of it.
Oh my God. Hold on a second. I'm so sorry. Pause. And back.
No,
And
you're no, you're fine. So like I think I got them because I like doing a lot of things. And so I was like, the best thing is freeing up your time. So I feel like if you have a business, if there's a way that you can free up something to give you that extra time to do something else, that's
yeah.
probably the best. So obviously with my invoices, she sends them out every Sunday. She used to be one of my tutors. I used to work with her. We've been close for freaking almost well since grant tutoring started.
Hmm.
Um, so she was a tutor. She got married. She moved, and I was like, well, I have an opportunity for you. Do you want to just send invoices every Sunday? That's her job. Send invoices. Um, I have another girl that she
How
started
many
with grant
tutors do you
tutor.
have?
How many tutors? Let me see. Not a lot. Like not like 20, maybe. I don't think 20.
That's a lot. What do you mean?
One,
Manage 20 people
two,
and you don't think that
three.
that's a lot?
Okay, that's another thing that I do. I manage every single tutor.
So it's not even
One,
just tutoring.
two.
It's like you're,
I'm
you know,
pretty much a
coordinator,
CEO. Yeah,
CEO.
like
Yeah.
manager. I'm a manager. I make sure. So, and the girl Sydney, shout out to Sydney, she does my bookkeeping, and she knows me to a T. She's known me the longest out of everybody. Like I went to high school with her husband, and we've been friends forever.
Hmm.
And she knows me. I'm that person that will give you a job, and then I will make sure you're doing the job correctly, even though I've told you a billion times. And she's like, you just need to don't do that. Just give the person the job, teach them, and then just guide them. Don't just because you're just doing the job for them. So it's kind of pointless. So yeah, I kind of just make sure the tutors update their calendar. Did they, reach out to the parent? Hey, how'd the session go? Especially if they're new. If they're new, like I'm on them like white on rice. Hey, how'd the session go? Did you update your calendar?
Yeah.
Oh, let me know if you need anything. So like,
That's totally managing for sure.
yeah, I do that.
100%.
I do, yeah. So I do all that too. So I guess you can add that to my book. Um, but yeah, no, back to advertisement. I'm sorry, guys. That that's how I am.
That's Colby
Um,
rant. Hashtag
yes,
Colby
that's
rant.
yeah. Oh yeah, I used to always do those. So that was my rant for the episode. But on, advertisement, Facebook and business cards, I think they're all good because I do have advertisement on my back window of my car. I have my website on my car. I don't
True.
think I don't think I get clients from that way, but I do have it because I was in college and this one kid, he was like, every time I see someone's website on the back of their car, I Google it or I look it up. And I remember that when I thought about it, I was like, there's got to be that one person that's going to look up my website and be like, I got you from your car. I'm like, okay, let's do it.
That would be pretty interesting. Yeah, I don't know if I could do something like that because people would want to see like, well, I guess that would entice them to look it up. You know what
But
I
put your
have seen lately is like people putting their handle like at,
that was my next thing. Yes, put your Insta.
yeah,
I think my Instagram's on mine too. But yeah, just put your um, get a if you have what are those things? If you have a Cricut, do the
hmm
sticker one. Make an
yeah,
Instagram little sticker. Make your at. Put on your window. That is another way. For some reason, everyone does it now.
100% gonna do that.
Yes, because
100%.
I went to the town center and someone had they're like hiking. Like I guess they just hiked, so they just had on the back of the window, and I was like, I want to see what they hike, so I looked them up. So
Right. Like
so yeah,
not a lot of people do it, but the people that do it, it makes me want to look them up immediately.
especially like as soon as you got out the car, you see it, and it's
Yeah,
kind of like unique. You want to see it,
right.
and
I
I think
think
with yours,
I'm
yours is
literally
probably
gonna do
better.
that when we get off of this recording.
So yeah, so business cards, Facebook ads, use the use the community. When I first started, I used the community pages
Mhm.
on Facebook. They're
Yes,
free. You just have to figure out when you can post and how many you can post because you don't want to be that spammer.
right.
I used mine is every Monday. So when I first started, I did it literally every Monday. Monday, grant tutoring flyer.
Yeah.
Monday, grant tutoring something every Monday. Flyer, Facebook ads, Facebook community pages. Um, what did we just talk about? Um, uh, DIY, is it DIY? Do it yourself.
DIY.
What is DIY? Do it yourself. I'm an idiot.
We're still
Put your
learning here.
stuff. I'm not good with acronyms. Put that stuff on your car. Ask if you don't know how to do it. Find someone on like Instagram or Facebook. They're very cheap, especially with stickers.
We're a small
Put on your
business.
car. Yeah, just hey, I need a small business
There's a
sticker
ton
for
of
my
people doing
Instagram.
that now, like the stickers and the t-shirts and all that stuff.
Literally everybody.
Hmm.
Um, so do that. And what else do we have? Oh, if you have a Twitter, promote it on your Twitter. Like I have a grant tutoring Twitter, but I also have my personal Twitter. I don't have like thousands of followers. I have maybe like 400, but I'm very engaged with my followers. So if for some reason I get hypothetically, which has never happened, if I get a tweet that goes viral per se, which is like maybe like 1,000 retweets, under that, I'm going to say, hey, I also run a tutoring business. If you need a tutor, check out my website, blah, blah, blah. So,
Yeah.
that's another way. Um, any other ways that I haven't
Facebook,
hit yet?
Instagram, business cards, handle on
Yeah,
the card.
I mean, obviously, word of mouth is probably, I feel like out of all of them, word of mouth is probably the best. And that's where I
Hmm.
get most of my clients is, oh, Jimmy recommended me. Oh, I saw
I
Susan.
gotta agree there.
It's,
Yeah.
yeah, because it's one of those like, if your neighbor has come up to you and said, hey, Jill has really got her grades up because she goes to grant tutoring. Hey, that's pretty much a guaranteed client.
Yes.
Where with yours, I think your pictures pretty much sell you
Well, I
because
gotta say, like exactly what you're mentioning right now, I do get a lot of word of mouth. Like people will like friends, like let's say there's this friend right here. This is friend number one. She shows friend number two her pictures from her wedding. Friend number two calls me for a quote, and friend number two books me. That's considered word of mouth. Like,
yes,
and that's
but
happened plenty of times.
but as I said, it's the pictures that you do A1, and that's what obviously sells. Like, and I guess another thing that people need to realize is you and this is, I don't know if this relates to you or not, but for me, I think a lot of people who have small businesses, or let's say services, because we provide a service, we don't sell a product, or per se a product. But I feel like with small
Yeah,
businesses, with
same.
services, people um, want a big social media following. I have, let me check. I have exactly on my Grant Tutoring Instagram, I have 984 followers on Grant Tutoring.
That's great.
Maybe it's good, but if you own a business, you expect to have maybe over like 2,000 or something. I think when people think of a small business or being an entrepreneur, you expect to have a lot of followers. And
Yeah.
I would say half of those people, maybe a quarter of them, are just students that follow me. That hey, that's Mr. Grant. I'm going to follow him.
Oh, true. Yeah.
So another thing is, I guess I don't really advertise on Instagram. It's just one of those like I'll post like reviews from my tutors. I'll post, Edison, my son, in Grant Tutoring. I'll post inspirational tweets from Grant Tutoring. I don't need, I want, I will say, I want thousands of followers. You don't need thousands of followers to be a successful business,
That's true.
because I could, at one point I had like 500 and I still was getting clients because it's not about the Instagram. It's, well, maybe about yours because you take pictures,
Well,
but
a lot of people that inquire about your services, sometimes they just don't hit that follow button, but they still book you.
yeah, that is true. And I
That's
tell them, I
happened to
was like,
me a
hey,
few times.
I always tell them, hey, follow the Instagram. All right. They don't do it.
Right. Yeah. Like my people that come in through my website, uh, they probably don't even follow me on Instagram. And sometimes people who message me on Instagram aren't following me, but because it's
Yeah.
public, they're like, why do I need to? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
So,
we have to have it public.
right. Yeah.
So, I mean, Instagram's good. Like, I think for us, I think if you're selling a product, then obviously you need more followers to show like
Mhm.
it's a legit thing. But I
Yeah.
think with the service, it's one of those like, okay, let me just understand, let me know the company, let me see who the company is, let me see who Colby Grant is as, you know, like who is he? Like he says he's a teacher. Let's see. So I have
Yeah.
pictures with me and students. I have pictures with me and students from like years ago until now. So it shows like, yes, I'm a teacher, but I'm more than a teacher type thing. So like, they need help with anything, that's what I'm there for. So I am a
Mhm.
human and I'm more than a teacher. So that's the Colby Grant tutoring side of the business.
Yeah.
Talking to me on Facebook is the business side.
Mhm.
Um, and I've only had one person talk to me in person about grant tutoring, kind of like out of nowhere, scary, didn't know what to do. But I did
I
book it
would
for a
be
client.
shocked. I would be so shocked if somebody was like, "Hey, you're Cone and Cone Photography." I'd be like, "What? How do you know
Yeah.
what I look like?"
Well, a
I
lot of
would,
my clients are in the area that I live. So, and no
yeah.
one like, I wear my grant tutoring hat everywhere.
Mhm.
And no one's ever said anything. I don't expect people to. I don't even hope people don't recognize me unless
Yeah.
like you're a student or former student. But no, I went to
Celebrity
go pick up my
status.
I went to go pick up my medicine and some lady's like, "Are you Colby Grant from Grant Tutoring?" I said, yeah.
Yeah, actually,
So,
I am.
you gotta be on your toes for those things. But no,
Mhm.
she ended up reaching out like maybe a couple of weeks later and she stayed for a couple of months. She ended up leaving because she moved, but she was like, I'm definitely coming back.
Yeah.
So I mean, as I said, word of mouth is probably number one. I feel like that's the best one because it's kind of
I feel
like
like
some,
also getting involved with the community has got to be number like somewhere in there. Maybe not number
what do you
two,
mean?
but like
Well,
becoming relevant.
now what do you mean by that?
Like,
Break that down.
remember the people that we had on, like the Will King Foundation, or like all of these nonprofits, that are out there, like getting involved, and doing like, I want to say just like free work,
Yeah,
honestly, getting your name out there. I
yeah,
think that's
that's true.
also a good contribution to, your name would appear on a flyer because you did a free photography session for like let's say, a nonprofit or a real estate company or whatever.
Yeah. No, yeah, no. Okay. Yes. Getting involved. Okay. So like for me, I know this is, I guess you can say double dipping since I am a teacher.
Hmm.
Students know me as, Colby Grant clearly, but they also know me as Grant Tutoring because
Hmm.
literally that's all I wear. Hat, shirt, hoodie. If you see me, I have something on that is something Grant Tutoring. Um, and so, they might tell their parents or they'll see me at the football game. Now I'm known at my high school as Grant Visuals because I'll take pictures for the football team. I'll take pictures for
Yeah,
the
I've
football
seen those. This
players.
is good.
Thank you. So now I become Grant Visuals. So like I worked out today, they're like, oh, Grant Visuals. So obviously that's just a hobby that I do. I mean, we've talked about it and you've
Yeah.
helped me a lot with understanding how to do everything that I've done. So it's not nothing that I'm just doing to, get paid for. It's just I have a camera, I might as well take pictures and I'm helping my school. Like I work there, I might as well do free stuff for them
You
as
have a
well.
Sony, right?
Yeah, Sony A7 III.
Well, if you ever need any help, let me know.
I'll let you know. I'm not like as I said, I'm not doing weddings. I'm not doing like couples. I did tell this one girl reached out. She was like, do you like charge for family pictures? And I went to high school with her. I was like, dude, I'll do it for free because they might come out shitty. Like I'll do it. If they come out good, then hey, you're my first family that I've ever done, and they're really nice. But I'm doing it for free because
Yeah,
I don't want to take them and they're terrible, and then you pay for them. You're like, what is this? Like,
of
yeah,
course. Yeah.
My Instagram pictures are good, but could be luck of the draw. Um, but no, like once I set that up, then I'll post them and we'll see where that goes. But I do have a family that wants pictures, and I said I'll do it for free. But I know
Hey,
her,
try it
so
out. If you need some pointers, let me know. I've got
uh,
a few under my belt.
obviously you have more than a few.
Hmm.
Um, but I think with advertisement, as I said, as you said, community is key. Try
Hmm.
to figure out how you can, yeah, and you don't have to do it like you don't have to put your face out there. Some people don't like
Yeah.
putting their face out there. I wasn't when I first started. I did not want anybody to know who I was. I
Yeah.
wanted to know Grant tutoring, but as I've gotten older, I feel like people need to know who's behind it, who they're talking to on the phone,
Hmm.
who is Colby Grant, who's the owner, is he a teacher, does he know what he's talking about?
Hmm.
So, and I think eventually you're gonna have to put yourself out there in most cases, um, and then just be yourself,
Yeah.
advertise, don't be afraid of, and this is my last thing, I don't know about yours, but the last thing is when you're advertising, don't think about what other people are thinking. Like, don't be
Ooh,
like,
let's make
oh,
that a topic for next episode. That's a big
okay,
thing for me. Let's make that next episode for real.
look at
So
me
stay
finding
tuned,
topics.
guys.
So
Episode 2.
yeah, episode 2, season 2. Don't let people discourage you because I think me and you we've never talked about it. So
Mhm.
this isn't nothing. This is not one of those like, oh, me and Becca have talked about it. We've never talked about it because I literally just brought it up because I want to end on it, but now I gotta save it. I gotta save it.
Save it.
We
Yeah,
got
don't talk
we,
about it yet.
we got to put that in our notes. So season 2, episode 1, we are back. Entrepreneurs, Colby, Bekah. Hope you enjoy this episode. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you comment in the comment section on Apple Podcasts. I don't know if you can do that on Spotify, but if you can, do that. Share it, tell people about it. Follow our Instagram at Jacksonville Entrepreneurs. You'll get clips. Are we doing YouTube still?
Are we?
Follow our YouTube channel, Jacksonville Entrepreneurs. I don't know. I don't want to guarantee when it's going to post, but just follow if you want to see us in our all glory. Bekah, beautiful blonde, tattoos, me, an old scrubbly dude with Batman pictures behind him. Um, yeah. So just,
We are
follow us
who
on
it is.
everything. Yes. Or you can follow my personal Twitter at Colby Grant 24, El Professor Grande or Blanco, one of those two, the black teacher. Um,
Wait, you should make that your Instagram handle.
Which one? My Colby Grant one?
No, the black teacher.
Oh, I should change my Colby. Yeah, I had something before and then I changed it, and I was like, I need something creative.
That's
So
really intriguing.
I said El Profeso Negro. That's what it is. El Profeso Negro.
It's kind of the same thing as the black teacher, isn't it?
Well, Blanco is white, I think.
Wait, so you can't use Blanco.
Yeah,
I mean,
Blanco
you
means
can, I guess. There's no
I
rules on it.
could. That's true, but then people are like, you're not white. I'm like, that's true.
Yeah.
Negro. Yeah, so follow us on, well, I don't know if you have Twitter, but that's my Twitter. Usually I'm talking about stocks or Zack Snyder. So
True, true.
um, other than that,
But stay
okay,
tuned for this
stay
is episode
tuned.
1. Stay tuned for episode 2.
Yeah, season two might be longer than season one. Mm-hmm. Deuces.